about the documents the FBI here in the States, of course, now says that they're going to release on President Tinubu and your role in helping that to happen.
Yes. So shortly before the election, I'd actually tried to get hold of the documents in Tinubu's FBI file, because I know for a fact anyone who has ever been the subject of a U.S. federal investigation does in fact have an FBI file. Okay. And in response to the FOIA, the FBI said, because of privacy considerations, we're not going to give you this information. He's a private citizen. So after the election, which he purportedly won, he's no longer a private citizen. He's now a public official. So we sent, in conjunction with a gentleman called Aaron Greenspan, who runs a website called plainsight.org. You might be aware of it. He's based in San Francisco. We sent off another set of FOIAs, this time to the FBI, the CIA, the State Department, the DEA, the IRS, and U.S. attorneys. And they initially stonewalled. So we went to court, right? So myself and Aaron, in conjunction with a lawyer whom we were able to get to work pro bono. So in the initial submission from the respondents was that potentially this was going to drag on to like 2026. And then a couple of weeks ago, pretty much out of nowhere, I didn't see it coming. It was, I think, Friday, September 8th, I think it was. Then I got a message from Aaron, and there'd been a new filing in court. And basically all 6 U.S. government agencies, that's the FBI, the CIA, the DEA, IRS, the State Department, and the U.S. attorneys basically said, we're going to give you everything you're asking for. And even went into further detail. The FBI said they've identified 2,500 pages of relevant information on Bola Tinubu, which they're going to release at the rate of 500 pages a month, starting from October. To put that in perspective, Malcolm X had about 2,400 pages in his FBI file. So what on earth does the FBI have on someone who is apparently Nigeria's sitting president now that makes it up to 2,500 pages of material? I think everyone would love to know. So I'm pretty much waiting with like bated breath. I think everyone in Nigeria is at this point to see what on earth it is that the law enforcement agency in America has on our sitting president. So I guess we're about to find out.
To 2023, Tinubu did not mention primary school and the secondary school he attended. But in 1999, he told us that he attended St. Paul's Children's Home School and Government College. Was that not a red flag?
Of course, that is clear enough that there are some gaps, there are inconsistencies, there are questions to answer. You are not allowed to make certain claims at one time, and then you drop it, and you expect people not to cry foul. No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
Atiku celebrated Gani Fawemi yesterday when he was in that international press conference. Is that good news?
I don't see it as good news, because Atiku was vice president, and was a close pal of Bola Ahmed Tinubu when Chief Gani Fawemi was challenging the credentials of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 1999. He was supporting him then. I recall that in the course of those struggles, the life of Chief Gani Fawemi was almost snuffed out within the premises of the High Court in Lagos, when he was challenging Bola Ahmed Tinubu over his claims of the academic qualifications. His Pajero Jeep was smashed. Chief Fawemi was just lucky he was not sitting at that side where they threw heavy stone that smashed the Pajero. And his driver was also smart enough, to escape those who wanted to kill him. And this is the challenge. When people who have questions to answer are in position of power, we could be seeing strange attacks, strange disappearances, strange killings, even strange policies being dictated by the IMF and World Bank being imposed on our people, like the removal of fuel subsidy, for example, that has thrown this country into money, into confusion, into agony. Since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in and he made the pronouncement, fuel subsidy is gone.
You were close to Gani Fawemi. If he were alive today, what would he be saying?
If he were alive today, and if he still had the strength, Chief Gani Fawemi would still be in the streets, protesting and fighting. He had fought the battle up to the Supreme Court. So there's no way he could still institute a legal action over an issue that the Supreme Court are determined that the police should investigate, should try him, should investigate him at their own time. Up till now, since 1999, they have not told us they have carried out any investigation. And having been president, we may as well forget it that he will ever be investigated over those claims, even after leaving office as president.
Now, let's look at the point. Has Tinubu committed forgery by submitting a certificate that did not emanate from Chicago State University?
Well, I would not. The Chicago State University has not said categorically that he has committed forgery. A criminal allegation would, the standard of proof is beyond reasonable doubt. It is the court that will have to make that pronouncement. And that was what Chief Gani Fawemi was trying to say. Calling on the security agencies, the police in particular, to investigate. And depending on their findings, to now put him on trial. So an individual is not in a position to say he has committed forgery or not. But everything suggests the allegation that forgery may be involved, particularly when he had made certain claims about having attended certain institutions, Government College, Ibadan, the other institution, primary school, and those claims are now dropped. And University of Chicago, his present claim is, Chicago State University. Previously, it was University, of Chicago. These, and then the contradictions in the documents, contradictions in the age, three claims around age, contradictions about gender,
Why Tinubu? Why all this around one man?
Well, ordinarily, in a sane society, a body, just like the INEC had the powers in the past, would have been empowered to ensure that individuals who have this kind of records are confronted with them, and all the body should also be empowered to say, no, you, on the basis of this. But even the Constitution is clear enough. Section 137, 1J, forgery, it should be a ground for disqualification. Though no court has pronounced that he has committed forgery, but the contradictions are sufficient in themselves to give anybody some concern. And for me, I would not have dared to say I want to contest public office if I had found myself in such a situation.
So in this
because
case,
his circumstances of his birth, for example, he didn't determine the circumstances of his birth, the circumstances of his education. We never knew the challenges he was facing. But given those challenges, they are sufficient to say no. Because the leader of a country ought to give an example on the basis of positive ethics.
At the end of the day, whatever it is anybody is reading there or whatever journalists are producing as their work will be authenticated, will be seen to be correct. But in this case, what BBC, in fact, I don't know what BBC was trying to do or what they actually wanted Naseta to achieve, because the evidence is out there. The deposition of the registrar of the Chicago State University is a document that is there in the open. The certified true copy has been released to the public. And where do we start from? There is evidence to show that the registrar West Badge was asked specifically if the certificate that Bola Ahmed Tinubu presented to INEC came from them. And he said no. So what did they fact check and what are they trying to do? I think that is why many people are reacting the way they are reacting, because it is now a question of people fact checking the fact checkers, because what has been found out is that what was actually termed to be fact checking is turned out to be something different altogether.
Yeah, I mean, the of course reactions have been very, pretty bad, to the BBC's fact checking. What would you say prompted this, and how relevant really is the BBC's fact checking in the conversation concerning the president's certificate? Because there's been people who have also said, Nigerians should move on. There's no need to continue to go back and forth about this. There are those who, of course, we've interviewed here who said, there's no, once again, there's no need, and the president's already there. We shall allow him run his 4 years, in office, and, keep it as maybe, whoever it is that wants to try can try again. But how relevant is the BBC's report, and why is it even being given this much attention?
Those who say we should move on, that after 4 years, Bola Ahmed Tinubu will leave the presidency and then we'll get it right. They are not getting it right. And if I may say, I think that is the reason why we are where we are today. See, the BBC is the British Broadcasting Corporation. In Britain, a Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, was forced to resign because he threw a party during COVID-19 when people were not allowed to be together. He lied about it. He was found out, called out, and he resigned for throwing a party. And we are saying the same BBC is coming to model the water in Nigeria, where it has been, at least from the deposition. And this is somebody giving evidence under oath that the certificate which he submitted was forged. And the definition of forgery is a straightforward thing. When what you claim to be did not originate from the source from which you said it came from. It is as simple as that. And look, we are talking about multiple forgeries here. Don't forget, okay, we are only talking about the Chicago State University certificate. Don't forget that when the president was at the Chatham House last year, he did say specifically that he has received his replacement certificate directly that the Chicago State University sent him the replacement certificate. So from the deposition of the Chicago State University, it turned out that he was lying. And, you know, there is no better way to put these things, because if you say what is not true, if you are economical with the truth, you have lied. And when people say this, the government and its agents go out there threatening people and making all manner of accusations. But if you have lied, you have lied. Because we are talking about evidence supplied by the Chicago State University itself under oath, saying that the replacement certificate that the president submitted to INEC did not come from them. In fact, they said they still have the copy of the I think that July 27th copy of the 1999 certificate. So if they still have it, as again, West Badge said under oath, it then means that even the one the president said that he had and which he lost when he went on exile, again, is not true. So we have layers and layers. Okay, are we talking about the Government College Lagos, from which he said he graduated in 1970, when the school actually was established in 1974? So what are we talking about? The issue is that the president has been caught pants down in layers and layers and layers of being economical with the truth. And if we stretch this to 1999, when the president said he attended one primary school in Ibadan and attended government college in Ibadan, and he was called out, and in the 2003 form he submitted to INEC, he refused to fill in his primary school. He left it blank. Secondary school, he left it blank. And that's what impunity does to a people. So to suggest by anybody that this should be allowed to go so that after 4 years we'll get it right. Don't forget, APC also presented us with this same problem when President Muhammadu Buhari also had the same certificate issue. Okay, we let it go. 8 years down the road, has the problem been solved? The answer is no. 8 years down the road, we now have the Tinubu gate, as it were, as some people are now calling it. So from the Buhari gate, we now have the Tinubu gate. So if we also allow this to go, I can assure you next 4 years or next 8 years, we will now have somebody who never went to anywhere, and there will be precedents. What did he do to Buhari? What did he do to Tinubu? And why must it be me? So we can't allow this to go. That is part of the reason why this country is not making any progress, because we have allowed too many things to go, thinking that it will get better. It never gets better.
All right, Mr. Mechi, I'd like us to look at this article in two folds. First off, from a journalist's point of view, do you think that the Nigerian journalists or the press are indeed taking more time to dig into this story for better explanation to Nigerians? That's one. Do you think journalists, the press, are doing enough? Secondly, do you think, I know just yesterday we had talked about the Financial Times story that was published, talking about the current president and how he's going in the past 5 months. Although they also posted with facts and details of how things are going. They focused on the economy. So it's only right for us to also look at another article from the BBC. But do you think that the BBC article should indeed rock the boat of this entire conversation? Or do you think it is infinitesimal? It doesn't really matter?
I have said categorically that that article matters to the extent that I think it is an attempt to model the waters. It is not a credible article, and there is evidence to prove that it's not a credible article. And that evidence is nothing other than what transpired at the Illinois court. There is a deposition which all of us have the certified true copy. And that deposition does not agree with what BBC is putting out there. So to that extent, people should be able to call out that reportage, because personally, I don't think it is true. Whether the Nigerian media is doing enough on this certificate saga issue, my own personal opinion is no, we are not. And I was discussing with somebody the other day, I think that was on Sunday, who said, look, imagine if this shoe was to be on the other foot. Imagine if any other person other than APC and Bola Ahmed Tinubu was to be the president today, and Bola Tinubu is in the opposition, all hell would have been let loose by now. So we have a situation where those who know what it takes to protest, those who easily call out people on the street, those who know how to agitate, are the same people who are in government. They control the levers of power in the media. And that is why the voice of so many people, particularly the critical voice of the media, that is why most of these voices are muted today. You can imagine what happened in 2012 when the then President Goodluck Jonathan removed fuel subsidy. All hell broke loose. When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did it from the first day with very, very disastrous consequences, people have moved on and the economy has virtually collapsed. So, to answer your question straight, I don't think that the media is doing enough. And that is a very, very sad commentary on the media. We should be able to have the courage to call out whoever else without minding whose us is God. And the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, submitted a forged certificate to INEC, and he must be called out. And we can't allow it to go. We can't afford to sweep the matter under the carpet, because if we do that, Nigeria will be worse for it.
Well, I think it's still fair to say allegedly, concerning the allegations of forgery. Will you expect that the Supreme Court, will, be able to look through these facts, that you've mentioned that are currently on ground from the deposition, from, previous court rulings, from, I think there's also even previous, I did see a court document yesterday that was eventually withdrawn many, many years ago, where someone was suing the current president for pretty much the same case, and amongst others. Do you expect that the Supreme Court will be able to look at these very clear facts and be able to come to a conclusion that Nigerians will, maybe not generally, but, majority of Nigerians will agree with?
I think they should. I think they should, because the suit you alluded to, which was withdrawn many years ago, on this same matter, was withdrawn on technical grounds because they said that then Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Lagos State was protected under Section 308 and had immunity, and therefore could not be investigated as the governor. So that case was dropped on that technical ground. It wasn't as if there was no merit in that case. In any case.
No, are you referring to the 2011 case that was filed by Attorney General Bello Adoke back then?
No, I was referring to the one of 1999 that was pursued by the late Chief Nagane Fawemi on that issue.
Oh, no, I was referring to a different one. There's a Bello Adoke case from 2011. That, of course, it says here that Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 1999, on the occasion of making a statement at INEC, submitted the INEC headquarters in Abuja, touching on his educational background, knowingly made a false statement in oath, which is stated. Anyway, it's too long to read, but basically accused him once again of making false statements on that oath, submitting fake documents or false documents, and then a couple of weeks later the case was withdrawn. But go ahead anyway.
Well, yeah. If that's the one you're talking about, of course, now the only reason why that case was withdrawn would have been political pressure, not from everybody, because the president himself had declaimed those certificates by not including them in the form he filled in 2023. He had denied that he left blank where he ought to have put in a primary school. And also, he left blank the space for secondary school. So the only thing he had there was Chicago State University. So if he actually attended Government College Ibadan, as he claimed in 1999, so why leave it out in 2023? See, we have a very, very big problem on our hands. And the reason why this thing has gone on and on over the years is because we have allowed impunity to reign. Impunity has emboldened those who have looked Nigerians in the face and say, you can go to hell. That was why somebody could wake up in the morning and claim what he is not, because no matter how much we try to whitewash this, the fact of the matter is that what you claimed in 1999, it is just like you now. If 5 years ago you said you attended this in a secondary school, in the next 1 million years, if you attended that secondary school, it should be a fact that you attended the secondary school. So if you claim and nobody has come out to dispute the fact that they claim, or that the president claimed he attended one primary school, Aroloya, in Ibadan, children's school, Aroloya, and then he attended Government College Ibadan. There is no evidence to show. And the president himself has left out those spaces blank in the form he filled in 2023, confirming that what he did in 1999 may not have been correct. And in the documents released by Chicago State University, we are now seeing Government College Lagos. So when and where did Government College Lagos come in? In any case, even the Government College Lagos, you are saying you graduated in 1970, when the Government College Lagos was set up in 1974. So, my brother, there must be an end to all these layers of lies. You know, the problem with lies is that you must tell more lies continuously in order to cover whatever you have said in the past.
Yeah, Mr.
Nigerians
Mitri.
cannot allow this
Yeah.
to go.
Just to clarify, the Bello Aduke document I was speaking about earlier says that he made a false statement on oath that he attended Government College Ibadan between 1962 and 1965, both dates inclusive, whereas in truth did not attend said school within the stated period that is mentioned, and of course it's punishable under Section 191 of Criminal Code. This and that. Just to clarify, it's Government College Ibadan, 1962-1965. That Bello Aduke was challenging.
I am saying that even the president himself, under oath, has disclaimed those certificates, because in his INEC form in 2023, he left the space for secondary school blank. If, for crying out loud, he graduated from Government College Ibadan, he should be proud to include it in his form, because it is required.
Yeah.
Now we are seeing Government College Lagos in the new. See, I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken Nigerians for a ride for far too long, and it is unfair. It is unfair, because what is happening now is that out there, every Nigerian will negatively impacted by this issue. Every certificate you provide anywhere in the world will be seen as fake until you prove it is real. And that's not fair. That's not fair. The president is being unfair to Nigerians, and he should be forcefully called out. The honorable thing for him to do at this stage, because he has been caught flat-footed on this issue, he does not have the certificates he is claiming that he has.
All right.
And that is against the law.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Michi. I mean, so far so good. We've looked at the BBC.
Sorry, put myself on mute. This may then be the beginning of much more to come. Maybe we'll talk to you later. We have to end because the show is ending here in just seconds. But I want to...
Here we are.
I was going to ask you, David, on that note where you ended, the fact that I think that it was just earlier this year, a Nigerian court ruled, I think it was an appeals court, ruled that, or rejected basically, petitions filed by opposition challenging the legitimacy of his presidency or his victory, including questioning his qualifications. So why, if what you are saying is the case, if, you know, these from decades ago, these things in fact happened as you're describing them, and I know that you've looked up and have the documents for them, why then did a Nigerian appeals court move forward and reject the petitions opposing it and move forward with the election, as you said?
So an unfortunate thing about the justice system in Nigeria is, first of all, it's not independent. The judiciary is actually not independent of the executive. The executive controls the money of the judiciary. The second thing is there's a very bad habit of delivering this thing called justice by technicality. So in the case of his educational qualifications and his failure to declare an additional nationality, which was also another perjury on the electoral declaration, what the court basically said was, oh, well, the way this evidence was submitted didn't meet this process or that process, therefore we're not admitting it, we're striking it out. So basically, that decision wasn't made on the merits of the case, it was made off the back of a technicality. And even more farcically, in my opinion, the judgment that was made regarding the fact that he had, forfeited money for heroin trafficking, he had involvement in heroin trafficking. What the court said basically was, it was his bank accounts that were sued by the U.S. government, I guess, using the framework of a U.S. civil asset forfeiture technically is true. But obviously, you and I know that's a legal technicality, because obviously a bank account is not a standalone entity. There's an individual behind it. So what the Nigerian Appeal Court said was the bank accounts in the name of Bola Ahmed Tinubu committed the crimes and not the man, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So basically, the president's bank accounts are guilty of drug trafficking, but not the man, not the president. The president. I personally think that's a ridiculous judgment, but here we are.
David.